Today in the group chat, we're talking about the one thing that can make or break a midlife ADHD brain. Sleep. Whew. Whether you're 45 or 75, if you aren't sleeping, your ADHD symptoms are on steroids. I'm 62, and I'm right in the thick of it with you. Wait until you hear why my mom actually called the police on me when I was a kid because of my ADHD sleep habits. Oh, I have many funny stories. Disclaimer, if you're new to my channel, I'm a big rescue mama. 3 dogs and a kitty cat. One of my rescue dogs is sitting on my lap, and her name is Primrose, and she's particularly snorty this afternoon. And I don't know if it's allergies or what, because she does have allergies. But she is snorting up to beat the band, but she's insisting on being on my lap. She keeps scratching my leg. My other little munchkin, Tasha, is a Chihuahua Yorkie mix, and she is behind me on the floor. She's pretty quiet, laying in her bed. They like to be with their mama. Okay, so excuse the snorts. Here we go. Why don't you just say hello, Prim? Quick, quick. Boop, boop. Hi, hi. Okay, that's Primmy. All right, now you can lay down, baby. So in my last video, which I just recorded yesterday, actually, I mentioned I was struggling with sleep. The night before, I had 4 hours sleep. Couldn't fall asleep till 2, woke up at 6. Laid in bed for an hour, decided to get up at 7. I mean, why waste a day? Was miserable basically all day, and mentioned that in my video. I have always needed my sleep. Always, always. Always needed my sleep. Don't mind me if I look down a little bit. I'm just looking at bullet points to keep me on track. And welcome to the Midlife ADHD group chat. My name is Maureen. I'm 62, diagnosed with ADHD combined type. I check every symptom box on inattentive side, every symptom box on hyperactive. Was diagnosed 2.5 years ago after a lengthy neuropsych. In case you're new to the channel, just thought I'd get that out of the way. So anyway, sleep. Oh, goodness, sleep. I've always needed my sleep, always, always, always. My mom used to tell me that she would never have to fight with me about taking a nap, ever. I just always loved to sleep. I was always hyperactive, even though I don't think we called it hyperactive. I always had tons of energy. My mom actually used to call me the Energizer Bunny. I don't know if you recall, but they used to have all those commercials with the bunny. Ding, 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 ding. I was exactly like him. You know, boop, 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 and crash once the batteries. Same with me. She used to find me in very funny sleeping places, between like, say, 3 and 5 or whatever. I mean, she would think I'm in the backyard playing, and she would find me like under the dining room table sleeping. Well, one time she couldn't find me. And she had, my mom was a registered nurse, worked full-time, part-time until the youngest, which was my brother, I'm the second youngest, until he was in kindergarten, then she worked full-time. And she, as you can imagine, 5 kids in the 60s, working as a full-time nurse, she was busy. Because sometimes I would ask, well, how did you not know where I was sleeping? Easy for me to say, I had 1 child, my mom had 5. And as we all know, times were different back then, certainly, in the 60s versus raising kids now. Anyway, I diverted, as usual. So, especially if I'm overtired, oh boy. One time she couldn't find me, looking all over the place for me. She finally called our town. We have a mid-sized town, not huge, but not tiny. She called the police because she couldn't find me and was obviously hysterical. Police came. Have you checked the whole house? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. You mind if we take a look? No, of course not. Officers, come on in. And my mom was a great storyteller, so you could imagine she would add a lot to it, telling these stories. And she later thought it was a riot. At the time, did not think it was so funny. I am very similar to my mom in that way. the officer found me sleeping in my brother's bedroom. I had 3 brothers. They shared a bedroom. Under one of their beds. Sleeping. Yeah, and of course later I'm like, well, Mom, didn't you check before you called the police? And she's like, because I was kind of horrified, when she told me the story when I was older, maybe 11 or 12 or whatever I was. And because I didn't remember, it was like when I was 3 or something. And she was like, no, I have 5 kids. I don't know where you were. You were in the backyard. Your older brother was supposed to be watching you. I'm busy in the house, cooking or whatever. And anyway, so yes, so there's a lot of funny stories about me. And but anyway, I have always said this. And I don't think I've ever really connected sleep and ADHD until the past few years. But recap, I always knew I had ADHD as soon as I learned about it in my mid-20s. I was always hyperactive. I was always talkative. I was always physically hyper, although I don't think we called it hyper in the 60s and 70s. I can't remember. But always energetic. Always, always, always. So once I learned about ADHD, I was like, oh yeah, I have it. And I never really got help for it. I was just like, oh, it is what it is. I thought I understood ADHD. I say this in every video. I did not understand the half of it. Sorry, I am just checking my phone. I get very anxious that I am not filming. So my phone operates my camera. So here we are. So I just double checked that it's filming. Anyway, I have always said this, though, so I never really connected it till the past few years. But this is what I have always said as an adult. The world is a dark place when I don't get enough sleep. And I was just actually mentioning, I talked a lot about sleep the past few days, and I'll get to that. With a psychiatric nurse practitioner I just started seeing, as well as my therapist. I talked about how important sleep is for me. It is, well, like my mom said, I never argued about sleeping. I just need my sleep. And as you can imagine, I have every single symptom, not looking for sympathy. But my head is spinning. I always have, like, constant activity going on in my brain. And between that and menopause and brain fog and, oh my God, of course I need my sleep. Well, so anyway, I always thought, I always would say this, like, oh, the world is a dark place when I don't get enough sleep. And it's right. I was right. It was. And I don't think I meant that as depression, because I didn't really feel depressed. It was more unenergetic, irritable. Well, that actually does sound like depression, but I don't think it was that. It's more like, the grogginess, the crap that you feel, So anyway, I'm just looking at my notes, make sure I don't forget anything. I would hate to forget a little funny anecdote from my mother. My mother was a riot. I was just saying that my mother would have loved YouTube. I'm not kidding. She was a born entertainer. And I think she missed it. I think she was meant for the stage. And I really suspect she had ADHD. You would have loved her, my audience. You really would have. She was, and I think I get that from her too, but a natural storyteller, very funny. Now, of course, as a kid and a teenager especially, you don't think your mother's so funny, it's more embarrassing. But, then you get older and a little wiser and you look back and, when your parents are in heaven, you'd give anything for them to be back here one more day with you, But anyway, so long story short is I've always been a great sleeper. Always, 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 like I told you. In my 20s and 30s, had a baby at 36. I just always slept well. Always, always, always slept well. I would read a book for 10 or 15 minutes, fall asleep. Sleep for 8 hours, wake up. Never got up to go to the bathroom, never tossed and turned, nothing. Beautiful. I could fall asleep like that. Stay asleep, feel well rested, 8 hours. 9 hours would be even better. I've always been I'm okay on 8 hours, but 8 to 9 is kind of my ideal, I would say. But even if I'd gotten 7 hours, I'd be all right. 9 years from 40 to 49, I worked as a companion and did 3 overnights a week. You would think that would have messed me up. I'm going to excuse myself. I'm actually drinking an iced coffee because I'm very tired today. And I need a little afternoon pick-me-up. And my throat's a little dry. I think it's allergies. Anyway, so you would have thought that would mess me up from 40 to 49. Let me do my math. No, 40 to 45, it did not mess me up. I was okay. You would think 3 overnights. So I could sleep. Like, I called it like cat napping. My companion jobs where I do overnights, you're allowed to sleep. We have, what do they call monitors, like baby monitors. So I always compared it to sleeping like with, your one ear open, like with a newborn. You never really get very restorative deep sleep, but you can survive on it. And most in particular, when I was younger, it was a lot easier for me. Now I do 6 overnights a month at my other job. The job I've been doing for 13 years. And it's tough. I don't sleep that well. And I feel it now. Much worse than 20 years ago. Oh, good God. Anyway. So I got that. So I've got a few issues. It's, I do the one overnight twice. Well, whatever. It ends up being 6 overnights a month. That kind of messes me up. All right. So I'm 45 years old. Still having my periods, everything. I'm very active. I'm working the 3 overnights. I volunteer a lot at my daughter's school. At that point, I think I was delivering Meals on Wheels as well. I'm a pretty good, or used to be at least, pretty good volunteer too if I had free time. Anyway, I just stopped sleeping. Now, I'm remembering it like this. It is most definitely possible that it was more gradual than I'm remembering it. But as how I remember it is, I literally just stopped sleeping. I mean, I literally, at 45 years old, went from read a book for 10 minutes, fall asleep, wake up after 8 hours feeling great, ready to start your day. And, again, I was working 3 overnights and not getting great sleep those 3 nights. But still fine, functioning well, fine. So I didn't rush to my doctor. Oh, and my husband snored horribly. I actually sent him to a sleep clinic to get a sleep because I was finding, oh my God, I can't fall asleep now. And then he's snoring next to me, forget it. So he actually got a sleep study done. And basically they concluded he had a minor, tiny touch of sleep apnea and not enough to treat, they said. And not enough for a CPAP or any of those machines. CPAP, BiPAP, CPAP, I guess. Anyway, I'll be honest, I eventually had to kick him out of the room. That's how bad it got. I'm not kidding. I'm sure some of you can relate to this. I know I'm not the only menopausal woman that's like, I can't sleep next to you, bro. Oh my God, he still snores. Oh my God. I think he's a little better now, but Jesus Christ, like a goddamn, well, I shouldn't be swearing like that, but you know what I mean. Oh God, freight train right through the friggin' ears. As I hear my Primrose snoring. At least you're a little lower than Daddy. Getting off track. I'm a little groggy today. I actually kind of thought I wasn't going to do a video. Then I'm like, I like to be real and authentic. I might as well just do what I'm feeling, right? That's kind of what my topics, that's how I decide my topics. I'm not kidding. Because I feel everything, for goodness sake, I always have something to talk about. Anyway, so I figured, why not do a video on sleeping or lack thereof? Anyway, so, just looking at my notes, trying to keep on focus. Yeah, so 45. So anyway, I had my annual physical coming up, and I don't remember, it wasn't right away, but it was within, 3 to 4 months, 5 months of the sleep starting to. And my old PCP was funny. She was my age, and I used to joke I don't get much sympathy from her because, kind of everything I was going through, she was going through. And she said to me, oh, that's perimenopause. I was like, what? That's perimenopause? Oh, cripes. Are you sure? I'm only 45. I used to get my period like every Wednesday afternoon. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not much. Like at 3 p.m. That's what I always said. But that's how regular I was. I'm not kidding. It was like every 4 weeks exactly. But anyway, I couldn't believe that I was in perimenopause. Oh, yeah. And then you get no sympathy. I'm not kidding. She's like very matter of fact. Oh, yeah. And I said, well, how long are these symptoms going to go on? And what else am I to expect? Like, what the hell is this crap? And she's like, oh, yeah. And then, yeah, that can last 5 to 10 years, and then you'll go into menopause. I'm like, what? And, I just did not think it started that early, guys. I was thinking in my 50s at some point, not at 45. Well, anyway, she offered me a prescription med. And I've got to tell you, and I can be stubborn. You know that I always call it the Irish stubborn. But I think it's also the ADHD stubborn. I was like, oh, no, thank you. Miss, I'll do it on my own. I'm fine. So I never took a med then, but I've tried since. Anyway, so I didn't, and I just kind of suffered through it. And I'm trying to think what helped. Oh, all right. So I did say to her, I'll go on melatonin. And I can't remember. 45 was many moons ago. That was 17 years ago. I don't know when I started melatonin, to be honest. But I did. I tried melatonin. And it was initially good. 3 milligrams. Okay, that was good. I don't feel groggy. It's helping me fall asleep. I'm staying asleep. Then as menopause hits at 50, my last period was 50. So I guess officially menopause was 51. I'm starting to get up to go to the bathroom during the night, so that's disrupting me. And again, I kind of skipped a whole bunch of years, but at whatever point that I can't remember, melatonin worked, and don't ask me dates or times, I can't remember. It worked for a while. I had to go up to 5. That worked for a while. Then I went up to, I feel like I went up to 8. I don't know if that sounds right. That sounds like a lot, but whichever. It all stopped working. So it worked for a while, it didn't work. I don't know how many months. It might have worked for a year or 2. I don't even remember, to be honest. Anyway, and then sometimes I would try Benadryl. I had Benadryl just because allergies. Because I get seasonal allergies, and I never want to be treated for anything, so I'll just try something on my own. And again, none of this is medical advice. Please, dear God, if anything I'm telling you about any meds I've taken, whether they're prescription or over-the-counter, I don't really think I need to say this, but I guess I do. As a disclaimer, don't take I'm not even offering advice. I'm telling you my experience, but obviously see your doctor. Sorry, I'm adjusting Primrose for a minute. She's a Snortball here. Okay, so there you go. All right, you comfortable, baby? Yeah. But anyway, so this is not advice. It's just talking about my own experiences. Anyway, so I finally did. Then I got another, then that one left, and I got another PCP. And she suggested, I just got used to being not a good sleeper. So there's a couple of things going on. I also think it's behavioral. If I'm going to be fully honest with you, and myself, and I am about this to my doctor. I love the blue light. This is my time. I talked about this in other videos. This is my time. No one needs me. I've got, 4 four-legged children and 1 two-legged who, needs her mama. She lives at home, but she's 25 and pretty independent. But you know what I mean? She's still here. And, I work as a caregiver. I always feel like somebody or something or somebody needs me. And, it's my time. And then I kind of treasure it. But, I also kind of, cut my nose off to spite my face. So, I have my laptop with me and it's sitting in bed. I've got YouTube on the big widescreen TV, and then I'll have my phone next to me. I'm not kidding. I know this is, God, honest to God, making these videos, I'm listening to myself. I'm like, I sound like a nutcase. Anyway, so I'm just describing my life. Please don't feel like you're taking advice from me. Anyway, so I know that's bad. I've told my doctor this, that's not good. But still, there is something else going on. It's not just that. But anyway, so, I think it's a mix of the low estrogen with the menopause. Oh, Lord, help us. And I have low thyroid, too. I have hypothyroidism. Hello, isn't it awesome getting older? So, I always say it could be worse, so don't complain. But that can also make you feel fatigued and everything the next day. So, it's everything. Who knows? Anyway, I've tried melatonin. All right, so my new PCP as of maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, hey, why don't you try amitriptyline? It's, very low dose. It shouldn't make you feel hungover or groggy in the day. And I'm very honest. I have, I'm in recovery. I have an addiction history, so I'm very honest with all my doctors. I don't want anything that's, a narcotic that's addictive. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I tried I have it written down, amitriptyline. And like most things, it was helpful. I actually looked this up the other day I'll tell you, an appointment I had the other day. I had to look it up. I took it for, I think, 4 or 5 months. It was effective in the beginning, and this is what I'm finding. Anything I do, it's effective in the beginning, and then it loses its effectiveness. So anyway, it was effective in the beginning, and then I just took myself off of it, and I let my doctor know, I'm taking myself off of it because I don't want to take meds that aren't helping me. So it was great, and it worked for a few months, and then stopped working. So anyway, then I got off of that. And then, I love to grouse and vent and complain versus actually, staying the course and helping myself. But I do feel like I give something a while. I don't just quit after 3 nights or something, or 2 weeks. I feel like if you give a med 3, 4, 5 months, that, you should have a good idea if it's working or not. But anyway, so then what else have I done, everybody? I feel like I've done more than I could brainstorm. I was writing my script about an hour or 2 ago, which is basically bullet points just to remind me because I'll forget. And I was racking my brain. I'm sure I've done other things and I just couldn't remember what they were because I'm kind of groggy today. I don't know. But anyway, one thing I do like, and I was trying to think when I started this, and I think I started it a year ago, actually. I think it was in the summer last year. So maybe like 11 months or so. And I'm obviously not sponsored by anyone, and I'm certainly not saying run out and get this at all. But I do find this calming for me. It's from the calming company, and it's called You Sleep. And it's like a mix of like kava, L-theanine. It's a powder you add to a drink. It's a mix of like kava, L-theanine, lemon balm, inositol. I think that's how you pronounce it. A few other ingredients, all natural supplements, but you do need to be careful with all natural supplements. I see a functional nutritionist and I got my okay from her. I'm very fortunate. My husband works a second part-time job that gives us amazing insurance. So I'm very lucky. Believe me, I am very grateful that he does that and that I have insurance that covers these people that I see. Anyway, so I do see a functional nutritionist as well, here and there. Not regularly, but here and there, checkups. And she said it was okay with the supplements that I take. But anyway, so it's called You Sleep. And I was doing the You Relax one. So basically, I don't know if it helps me sleep, to be honest, like stay asleep. But it helps me just feel a little more calmer. But it's not like, and believe me, I have plenty of experience with this. I would not call it like throwing back 5 beers or 2 glasses of wine kind. Like you don't feel out of it. Like I don't feel woozy taking it. I kind of just feel relaxed, almost like a whole bunch of deep breath. Probably how somebody that does yoga and meditation feels, I'm going to guess. So it's more like that. Maybe I should try that. I actually have tried yoga and meditation 2 years ago. Yeah. I didn't stay with that. It's hard for me to stay with things that I find boring or I don't like doing. Very, very hard. I'm going to blame ADHD for that. Anyway, I'm sure it is. Anyway, so probably kind of, but in all seriousness, I think it's like that. So it's very subtle. Does that help me stay asleep? No. Does not help me stay asleep. I still toss and turn a lot. Get up to go to the bathroom, although the past few months I've stopped drinking so much water or drinks, especially right before bedtime. So at least I only get up once, like at 6 a.m. versus, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. So at least once is better than a lot. And I'm always been a night owl, always have been, but I could control it better when I was younger. Now I'm up till, I sleep like 1 to 9 or something like that. But again, that sounds great on paper. Well, gee, you should be pretty relaxed, Mo. 8 hours sleep, aren't you lucky? And I have a work schedule that can accommodate that sleep schedule. But I don't feel rested because I used to wear a Fitbit. Then I wore, and I have to charge it, my Garmin. I'm famous for buying expensive things, wearing them for 2 months. Oh my God. I don't know how I've ever lived without this wonderful item. It is the best. It was totally worth the $200. It's going to change my life. Nah, wear it for 2 months and somehow, I guess it didn't change my life because it's been sitting on my freaking bureau for like 8 months. Got to charge it, put it back on. So, and then I've also read this isn't completely accurate, but it would say that I had very disjointed sleep. Believe me, I would feel it. Long story short, oh God, story of my life, long story short. All right, Prim wants to get down. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to put her in the bed with Tashi. Prim, say goodbye. You're a little fatty. My little cutie fatty. All right, there she is. She's like her mother, a little chubby old lady with arthritis. That's what I call both of us. Chubby old ladies with arthritis. All right. So, where am I, everybody? Sorry, I just want to double check the phone, make sure that here I am. Okay, just making sure that everything's coming. Sorry, I am like way distracted. I'm groggy. I'll tell you why in a second. Jesus, Lord. All right. So, I do want to talk about ADHD meds because I was I hate to say this. I should not say this anti-meds. I am not anti-meds for anyone else. I'm not judgmental about people taking meds at all. Believe me, not at all. For me. Oh no, it's just me. You know, I don't know if it's a stubborn Irish thing, control freak. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really want to take meds. I think I'm good. I'm all right. I mean, the neuropsych said, you know, basically in a nice way, lady, you've got every symptom on both sides. You probably want to consider meds. I mean, he kind of said it like that, and also ADHD coaching, which fortunately I kind of get from my therapist and on my own through my research. And doing this channel's like kind of ADHD coaching, I feel like. It's helped me a lot learn about myself. Anyway. Oh my God, I'm so off. I'm so sorry. I'm off like la la la. I'm assuming you'll all understand with the ADHD, and especially if you're in menopause. Oh God. Trying to stay focused is not easy. Okay. So, I started seeing a psychiatric nurse practitioner in January. I decided I was going to try meds. And I'll tell you why. Because although my job, thank you God, is not like my old jobs that required me to be very focused. I worked, before I had my baby, who is now 25, I worked as a therapist. I have my MSW and Master's in Social Work. And I worked, back in the day, you worked as a counselor, you did internships, blah, blah, blah. I worked in a variety of places. But my last job was an inpatient unit. I was working as a family therapist with teens and their parents. Anyway, oh my God. I could never do that job now. I look back like, how the hell did I ever do that job? Because I think I did it pretty well. I was told I did. But forget it now. Oh my God, I'm just grateful that I work as a companion because I could never do it. I am too over talking. My brain's going a mile a minute. Forget it. Anyway, so my therapist is awesome. Obviously, she doesn't push meds, but, we problem solve. We talk about different, interventions I can do just to help me with staying focused, staying on time, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I decided to try meds. And so I tried, and, I can, for sure, talk about this more later. But I did try Concerta. Too high of a dose was raising my BP. I have regular to low BP, but it was raising it. And I didn't like that. I don't like playing with that. And I didn't see a difference on the too higher dose. So I went down to a lower dose. And I found it helped with some of the overactivity, like songs going through my head. Like, I'd hear one song and sing it in my head for 2.5 weeks or something. Wicked annoying. So it was great for that. But I didn't find it like over the top. And I'll be honest, I didn't like this nurse practitioner. Many reasons that I don't need to get into and waste time here. But, unfortunately, I've got great insurance. So I said, well, you know what? I'm finding another one. My mother always taught me that. My mother was an RN. She said, doctors are not gods. You consumer shop and you find the best doctor for you. She taught me that since I was 11 years old. I'm not kidding. My mom was very wise, very smart woman. And she said, yeah, you know what? They're not gods. They don't know everything. You listen to your gut. And you shop around. If you don't like a doctor, you move on, find someone else. That has always stayed with me. So I am not, oh God, another aside. Jesus Lord. I'm so sorry. I'm so scattered today. But I think if anyone would understand, you guys would. All right. So Anyway, kind of fired her, to be honest with you. I took the high road. I was tempted to list why we were not a good fit, let's just say. Wow. Okay. I am back again. I am so sorry for the interruptions. I cannot make a video, it seems, without being interrupted with dogs barking. That was my husband yelling up to me, which got Primrose barking. Or I've got a camera issue. My EOSR just clicks off after 30 minutes. It is what it is. There's no way to fix it unless you buy an expensive part to add to it, and I'm not going to do that. And so, whatever. It's kind of a annoying thing. Anyway, so I'm back. So yeah, I took the Mirtazapine. Went to the bathroom once. 9.5 hours of sleep. That was awesome. I needed that with the 4th the night before. I do feel groggy today though. And the nurse practitioner did mention you may feel groggy for a little bit. Stay with it. She did say if you're very groggy, to split the pill in half. Try it for 3 days and then go back up to the 7.5 dose. So tomorrow I have off, so I'm going to try it again tonight at the 7.5 dose. So we'll see what happens. I'm really hoping that, you know, I would love to not need pills, to be honest with you. But, you know, it is what it is. You need your sleep. And this is kind of why I decided I have to just bite the bullet and, you know, and take a med. Just check to make sure I'm on. Because this is crazy. Why should I be suffering every day? And, you know, it's really affecting me. I mean, it affects my ADHD so badly. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my own experiences with sleep. With sleep and ADHD. Excuse me, I need a sip. But I am curious how everyone else is with sleep. Have you noticed since you were diagnosed with ADHD that your sleep is worse? And I think it's really hard to tease this out. I think it's very hard, at least for me. And again, this is all about me. This is not, I don't pretend that I understand other people's ADHD and the way their brain works because I can barely understand my own. I find it very hard to tease out what is ADHD and what is menopause. You know, it's really hard to know what's causing what and how to fix it. And so, like, it's an ongoing thing. But I do know this. I have always been, as I told you, a person that needs her sleep. So I am really praying that the Mirtazapine works. Dear God, let's hope. So if anyone can relate to this at all, if anything is speaking to you, please give a like and a comment. And let me know, like, you know, have you had trouble with sleeping? Do you think it's because of the ADHD and or menopause or both? Yeah. And if you know of anyone that is going through what we are going through, you know, a woman in midlife who has ADHD or suspects she does, please share. Share my channel with her. Hopefully she could find it helpful, and I'm hoping that we can all help each other. Okay then, until next time.